This week on the Baseline Podcast, Josh and I are covering a whole range of sport topics, all the way from college football video game, all the way to college football playoff, and then even talking about the crazy Major League Baseball uniforms and the top 10 players on our list. All that and so much more coming up on the Baseline Podcast. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Baseline Podcast. I'm Ben, that's Josh, and we are back on a very slow, boring week of sports, and not even an all-star game could get me excited to be pumped up for watching sports. I had to watch other shows, not sports, because we can't just have one good thing, Josh. One good thing for an all-star game. Just one good thing.
Just
It's
one
so
good thing,
bad.
man. Yeah. I think we only had 3 fouls. We had a record. I think the East scored over 100.5, which is the first time that's happened. I think there's a record for 3-pointers made.
211 points. Ridiculous.
Yeah, 211 total points. I think 211, 186 was the final score. Did not watch a single second of it. And based on all the commentary that I heard about it the next day, it seems like everybody's
So
ready to
bad,
recognize that NBA All-Star Weekend's not fun anymore.
Are we at the point now where we can finally agree that MLB All-Star Weekend is the best All-Star Weekend? Like,
It is
we
as
at this
simple as
point
it is
now?
with just the home run derby and like the celebrity softball game before, and then
But at
the
least that's
actual
entertaining,
game.
though. Like, at least that's entertaining.
Yeah, people
I don't
tune
know.
in.
I guess, Josh, to be honest with you, I think my frustration is that I just saw even videos, not of like 1990s, but even like 2012, 2013. They showed
as
this.
recent as like when we were in college and high
they,
school. Yeah.
they showed skill competition and how the circle is now like freaking Antarctica, and the circle back when we were in high school was like literally the size of the basketball. Like even the little things like that, it's like these are professional athletes, the best in the world, and like no one. Okay, nothing against Mac McClung, like no nothing against these guys, but we want to see LeBron James. We want to see the guys that we all know would just make a dunk contest, right? Where are the Michael Jordans, some of these guys that, should be in these kind of events in the All-Star game? Josh, I don't know about you. I remember seeing the highlights this week from like 1995, and you saw dudes getting clotheslined midair. Like I want to bring that kind of defense back.
I even saw a photo of that resurfaced of LeBron trying to block a Kobe Bryant dunk and failing at it, but still it's like, oh, look at the defensive effort, at least just as recently as LeBron Kobe days.
Do you think we won't dread on this, but do you think that we are now going to see a change in mentality, or do you think it's a long lost cause and that there's no way we can get back to it?
I don't actually know how to fix it. I mean, it ultimately depends on the players and what they're willing to give. As far as like the actual game itself goes, you still got stars over there, but it's just becoming much more relaxed and uncompetitive, I guess, and not real basketball. I don't know how to fix it.
I mean, unless you do incentive, kind of like the MLB does or used to do. I don't think they still do it.
The MLB incentive was that the league that won got home field advantage at the All-Star game, and I love that.
Yeah, why don't you do that? Why don't you say, hey, this could give you that extra game 7 at home in the NBA Finals if you guys just try a little harder, right?
Maybe.
Again, I know that seems really weird, but I don't know.
Yeah, the other thing that I think it really worked with the MLB, the reason why it did work is because you had representatives from every team, so everybody had a quote unquote a dog in the fight to play if their team was going to be in the World Series.
Which I agree that's what
contributing to that home field. Yeah,
I always felt like the NBA should be like at least one dude from each team. Like I know it's like 32 teams, 15 and 15 or whatever it is, something like that.
There's 15, 16? I think, in each conference. And if you got a team that has 2 or 3 of the best players in that conference, what do you do?
Yeah, that's the thing. And again, do you expand the rosters or whatever you do? But anyways, dunk contest was okay. I mean, he dunked over Shaq, but we've seen that how many times, Josh? How many times have we seen?
Bring out random 7-footer and jump over them.
I'm like, great. I mean, he was white, so that's cool, I guess. Like, I don't know. Like, you don't see that very often.
Aaron Gordon, Zach LaVine dunk contest.
That was
is the last good one that we're going to see over there, too.
Like, the spinning mascot, to me, that dunk still is just the fact he timed that to grab it with the behind his back is just.
And both of those guys are like solid basketball players. I don't think any of them are perennial all-stars, but they're obviously got the athleticism and they're names that we want to see. Yeah.
We're getting G League dudes. Like, I don't want to see G League dunk contest.
Right.
Give me guys. But anyways, Josh, That's enough of that. But was your week
That's enough
good?
basketball talk for a
Was your week good
podcast
though?
titled after a basketball term.
Well, that
Yeah.
is true. Yeah. Was your week good, Josh? Though.
My week was good. Enjoyed a lot of spending time with buddies over the last weekend, and then yesterday and today, another loaded slate too of more important things to do. Got my car fixed,
Oh,
knocking this
important.
out. Got to get a workout in after this. Getting some sushi later, so it's gonna be a heck of
Ah,
a day.
sushi and a workout. What a Josh combination right there. Phenomenal. Hey, you know what? We my football season's right around the corner, Josh. We start we have a preseason training camp in March, and then we start season in April, man. It's like
Mm.
right, we're gonna have to recap some games. I don't know if that's against the
We have to
rules.
recap some games, and I know that's gonna like obviously distract our football audience from what's going on at the NFL Combine and draft prep too. So
Because obviously we totally are right every time we do that. But I know Josh had some fun topics to talk about because it is a low week in sports. There's not a lot going on. Again, we could spend time talking about different things, but Josh and I really thought, hey, there's some topics that I think need to be discussed. They need to be addressed. And Josh, why don't you lead into it, my man?
yeah, I think these are going to be way more fun than talking about whether or not the Browns should restructure Nick Chubb's contract or cut him loose
Which they
entirely.
should.
We're just
Um,
reaching for content at this point. Same with DeAndre Hopkins over with the Titans. But yes, the MLB
oh
spring
boy.
games are underway. I was actually watching
Yes.
the Dodgers and the Padres yesterday, but the biggest noise so far has been the new Fanatics jerseys
Yeah.
and how cheaply made they are, how see-through they
So
are,
bad.
how much you can see underneath jerseys, and this is when they're not even wet and sweaty. So they're
Ugh,
also $40 more online, 175 for these bad boys. Whereas
ridiculous.
before, when Nike was the exclusive, I guess, manufacturer, they were 134 before that. And then even back in the Majestic days, Ben, those were $100. So it
Yeah,
just seems like as the jerseys continue to go down in quality, they get more expensive.
of
I hope
course.
fans are smart enough to not buy these, but it sounds
Yeah.
like the players, all of them hate him, according to Trey Turner. And the only ones that have been defending them or speaking highly of them are all Nike sponsored athletes because Nike, I guess, collab with Fanatics on this. But
I
we can all see, Ben, we're not stupid. We don't need Mike Trout and Jason Hayward to tell us how great they are. We can see
yeah.
they've
It
definitely downgraded.
if I can see like people posting about how like they can see their favorite players like junk, like that's just not like that's not what I don't want to watch a game and like that's what's happening, right? Like it to me it's just mind-boggling how everyone was like, I had so many people like when I was in college, they'd be like, oh, the old jerseys were terrible, dude. I'm like, dude, the old jerseys, yeah, they were thick. Yeah, they were like weird and sleeveless with like t-shirts underneath. But you know what? They never had see-through material. They didn't rip easy, right? Like they were just durable jerseys, right? And I miss those days because now you might as well just give them a t-shirt. Like I honestly believe now,
That's
just
what
give
we
them a
are
t
right now.
like just
Like
give them a
t-shirt,
t-shirt.
like 10 and under traveling team
This
t-shirt jerseys.
This reminds me of when the NBA went to the sleeve jerseys. Like this is literally what this reminds me of. But like in worse quality and when the pants are so see-through. Like what happens if like all these dudes it's like a rainy game and they're sweating? It's not going to be it's just not going to be good. Like
It's
we're going to
gonna
have
be
to put
ugly for TV.
PG-13. It's going to be PG-13.
They're
You're not
they're
even
gonna
allowed
be
to
they're gonna be
watch.
cropping in on only the shoulder and the head.
Well,
That's all
hey,
they're gonna
that
be
might
able
be
to
too
show.
much, man. Might be too much. You never know.
And even that
It's
might be, you're right.
But it is wild to me though. Like, and also like none of the hats are really good looking. Like none of the there's nothing that looks great. Like
I
I'm not
think,
like
yeah, I
just
mean,
doesn't look
spring
great.
training hats are always kind of more basic, but the Texas Rangers ones with the baby blue look sweet.
The Reds
Leave it to
suck
Cleveland
because
though to
it's
have
just
the worst
terrible.
one.
No, the Reds have the terrible dude. The Reds just have the same red as always. No cool design, like nothing like fancy. We're just like, hey, let's go basic again. Come on.
Mm,
Again, we do have a basic logo, so I really shouldn't be talking. But
yeah, and
you
we
know,
already have the worst logo in the league, so not a whole lot you can do about that.
the Ohio just has to cap it off. It is
Just
wild.
capping off,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, the Reds and Guardians play each other though coming up. I think it's
Hmm,
today actually. I think
is it
it's the first
today?
game of the day. Yeah, I think so. But they share
Okay.
the same complex, so it's not like
Uh,
they're traveling. And also the Reds, I guess using a pig to practice tagging, which is just weird.
using a pig?
They use like this stuffed pig as like the catcher tagging tool, and I'm like,
Huh,
Reds, you're making yourself look so unathletic. If that's what you I'm sorry,
man.
I'm venting over baseball because I thought it was exciting to have baseball back, and then all it's been is just chaos, not
What I
fun.
hate is how most of the photos that the Cleveland Indians Instagram has been posting have been players that I don't even recognize. So I'm just like, we're literally AAA in the pros this year is like what the approach seems to be outside of Jose Ramirez and Josh Naylor, I guess. And if our pitching staff is fully healthy, that's going to be dominant as always.
I mean,
Still got Bieber in the building, still got Tristan McKenzie,
I'm
Gavin
st-
Williams was solid last year, Tanner Bybee was solid.
I
We brought
still
Carlos
stand.
Carrasco back on a
That
minor
is
league
true.
deal.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get a little bit of magic out of him, but really it's just the pitching staff needs to stay healthy. It could be a real dominant force,
I
and we're going to need that with the lack of hitting that we got.
I kind of realized with the Reds that I have this really funny feeling, and I don't know why I have this feeling that some reason Votto is going to end up back in the clubhouse somehow, and I'm just hoping that it's because he has veteran leadership and you want him there. I don't want it to be like we're going to play him every day because I
Hmm.
know Votto thinks he can play, but I mean the man's hit like 210 the last 2 years, so I'm just
Yes.
saying I have this funny feeling in my head. But yeah, so baseball jerseys terrible. That's what we've summed up
Baseball
here
jerseys are
today.
terrible. Rob Manfred said there's been no more research done on any jersey than these. He
And
insisted. That's what he told
and
us.
Rob Manfred said he's retiring in 2029. Dude, you waited way too long. And also, why are you telling us 5 years in advance?
Yeah, I don't know. Two teams could be added on though.
Yes,
In my
Nashville.
opinion,
Nashville.
we don't even have enough talent in the league to field all
That is
32
true.
teams I
That is
think we
true.
got. So adding on two more is wild, but
Nashville be cool though.
I do love Nashville, a growing city, not only in the country, or I mean in the country. I mean
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
growing city in the country. They got the Preds, they got the Titans. They don't have any basketball or baseball yet though.
They have a
I think
minor
they
league team. I think they have a minor league team.
maybe minor league, but it still ain't the same.
And maybe they can be sponsored by Crane and Company. Like I think that would be just cool. Just like the Crane and Company
The
baseball.
Daily
Like
Wire
it's like
logo,
Savannah, it's like the
like how
Savannah
all the other
Bananas.
like
Like
Cleveland's got the
Savannah.
marathon logo,
Yeah.
San Diego's got
It's
the Motorola logo,
just
and then they got
Daily
the
Wire.
DW.
And they would
Yeah.
be hated out of the rim.
Oh
But you
yeah.
know, they would just be tossed. They'd be like, you're not even allowed in the league. And I've always believed that the next team should go to Montana. I think the final team should go to Montana, Billings, Montana, the Billings Buckies. That's what we should call them.
Jeez. I feel like you could fill one in like in that I mean
Montreal.
Tennessee's already getting one, not Montreal, but in that like Virginia, North Carolina, South
Yeah, that'd
Carolina
be good. Yeah,
area.
yeah, yeah.
There's just like a nice stretch right there down the Atlantic coast that
Nice
doesn't even have
stretch.
any baseball team. And it's
That's
crazy
what
because
that's
you
what
can play
Josh
baseball in
does.
those states year round.
Josh is like, listen, this is a nice stretch of land that we need to have a baseball team.
I mean, we can even start up in West Virginia, Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina.
Josh
And
is
then
thinking
you
about
get into
his
Georgia
summer
and
road
there's
trips.
baseball.
This is what Josh is thinking: is summer road trips down to Florida.
You're right. If I wanted to go down, I could only stop in Georgia to watch baseball. If I was on my
That's
way to
true.
Florida, I could only make one stop.
And
That
you would skip Tropicana Field. You would just skip down there and go to Miami.
go down to Miami Marlins, right?
Yeah,
Because
skip Tampa Bay.
nobody can find Tropicana at St. Pete with the way the traffic is and stuff. They get to Tampa and they're like, wait, where's it at? I can't
Where is
find
this
it.
place?
It's not even on my Google Maps. Where's that's why none of the fans come, guys.
There's no one there.
Yeah.
Oh, this show's
Oh
gonna be
man.
fun today.
Oh, we got
Oh
a lot
man.
more controversy to talk about in baseball though,
Oh
Ben.
yes, yes we do. It's
MLB
annoying.
Network has been dropping
So
their
annoying.
top 100 players just as like NFL Network drops their
Which we've been
100
sharing
and
on our
whatnot.
story. We've been sharing on our
We have.
story. Yep.
So everybody that's been following us on Instagram now is fully aware of the top 10 list. I'm going to go ahead and read it off here because the most controversial rating off of it was probably Shohei Ohtani at 4.
Yes.
Now, that's Shohei Ohtani in 2024 only as a hitter. He won't be pitching this year. So I
True.
think there's a little bit of merit to that. But the top 10 list, starting at number 10, Julio Rodriguez, Garrett Cole, Yordan Alvarez, Juan Soto, Corey Seager, Freddie Freeman, Shohei Ohtani, Aaron Judge, Mookie Betts, Ronald Acuna.
Yeah.
Now, the greatest thing about ranking players for the 2024 season only is that you can project a little bit, and nobody can argue against a projection because
Agreed.
it hasn't happened yet.
Yes,
And
agreed.
I think while Julio Rodriguez has had a couple solid seasons start off his career, I think they're really projecting a big time boom if he's going
Yeah.
to be up
Yeah.
at
Yeah.
10. Garrett Cole is arguably the best pitcher in the league, and this is, I think, a token pitcher for them in the top 10 because you got to have at least one,
Well, you
right?
have to. You can't not have a token pitcher. You just have to.
Yeah. And then you got a mix of like the big names, the 5 tool guys, the power hitters up here. But But the three above Otani, Judge, Betts, Acuna, I'm gonna be curious to see where you rank these guys. But Shohei
Yeah.
Otani at 4. Let's just start right there.
Yeah.
Is that too low? Because obviously Shohei Otani as a pitcher and a hitter,
Yeah.
being top 5 in the league at both of
Yeah.
those, makes him the
Hmm.
best player in
Hmm.
baseball.
Yeah.
But Shohei is just a hitter, hitting
Yeah.
about 300 with 40 home runs, 100 RBIs. Is that enough to still say yes, he's number one without any fielding or any defensive
I
additions?
I struggle with putting him at 1. Okay. And it's not that I don't think Shohei's the best. I think when he's pitching, he's the best player in baseball because I've said this on this show since Josh and I started together. I've said Shohei's the best player because you can't beat a guy that plays both ways. You just
You
can't.
can't. And he's not just average at both. He's
No,
elite
he's
at
very
both.
good. Yes. Yes. I just think that the fact that he doesn't field, right? He's not on the field. He doesn't affect the game in that way. Now, do I think he's number 4? I think he's more like 2 or 3 because I think his bat is like he hits lefties and righties. Like people forget he's not a switch hitter. He's not a guy that's only going to hit right. Like this dude I've seen him clobber home runs off of lefties and I've seen him clobber home runs off of righties, right? Like he's a guy that I think is, especially in that lineup. I'm also looking at lineup, right? You stick him between Mookie and Freddie. Like, what are you going to do? You're going to walk Mookie and then pitch to Shohei? Or are you going to walk Shohei, pitch to Freddie? So for me, I think to me, he's more of a top 3. I think he's a top 3 player, if not top 2. And I think part of the reason is that he's just such an elite bat. But again, I can't put him at 1 because I think Acuna is the model of the MLB right now. Right, he's a guy that has speed, can field, can run, field, and hit the ball. But again, we're talking Otani without pitching. He's definitely top 3, but definitely not number 1.
Definitely had his best season at the plate
Oh,
last year
for
he's
sure.
coming off. So
And he didn't even play
44
the whole
home
year.
runs, 44 home runs led the league over there in the American League. On base percentage 412, slugging percentage 654, OPS 1.066. These are all leading the leagues. OPS plus 184, total bases 325.
Yep.
So it's an incredible season
Mm-hmm.
that he had. And then I'm going to bring up, since you brought up walks, like he's going to have to face a lot more pitches. He was intentionally walked 21 times last year. When you got Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman, Otani, Max Muncy, all these guys in this order, you can't afford to put any guys on base for
No.
any of them. So I think he's going to get a lot more shots. But yeah, Shohei Otani is also not number 1 in my list either. I'm not going to say where I got him yet. I'm going to go ahead and start off at number 10, Ben.
Yes, go ahead.
My number 10, and I had a couple guys that I was flirting with. I thought maybe Fernando Tatis coming back fully healthy and off of
Yeah, he
the
is a freak.
suspension.
He is a
Because
freak.
that guy's, people forget,
He's a
he led the
freak.
league, I think, in home runs one season
Yeah.
already. And he's one of
He's a
those like
freak.
5-tool-ish guys too.
Yeah.
I've thought about Bo Bichette because there's not too many guys in the league that got more hits than him, but I don't know if he's going to come out with that pop in his bat ever. And I think he's
Yeah.
only going to be contact at best. Corbin Carroll, rookie season.
Stud.
Is he going to explode in year 2, or is he going to take a little like backseat
It's
a little
always
bit, a
sketchy to
sophomore slump?
yeah, it's
It's
sketchy to
tough.
put a sophomore up there. It's very
And
sketchy.
then there's my guy Jose Ramirez, who I really, really, really wanted to put in here, but I had an honest conversation with myself, and I said all of these guys in this list are guys that I would take over Jose Ramirez today.
Yeah.
So starting off at number 10, I got Juan Soto. He
Ooh.
was higher in the MLB
Yeah.
Network's list, but I'm putting him at 10 just because we've seen a couple down seasons by his standard lately. But I think I'm going to go ahead and put him in the top 10 because lefties in Yankee Stadium with that little league fence out there,
Yeah.
they enjoy it. Ask
They
Aaron
love it.
Judge. Dude hits opposite over there. Anthony Rizzo loves it. Mark Teixeira loved it when he was over there. Juan Soto's going to love it. I think you're going to see a boom in production, similarly to what Otani's going to face. He's going to have a lot of guys around him that are going to
Yep.
protect him, and you can't just intentionally walk Soto when you got to face, Judge and all these other guys over there. So
Yeah.
Juan Soto to me at number 10.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you, or I was flirting with a lot of guys. Julio Rodriguez, I was flirting with, right? Again, like he's had good years. I mean, they're in this projection that they're projecting, he's going to make a huge jump. Now, do I think he's going to make that big of a jump? I don't know. Another guy I thought of was Bobby Witt Jr. He just signed a big contract, a dude that, again, it's in KC, right? He's not going to get, again, it's not like a team where he's going to have a lot of guys around him. That's a guy I was thinking of. Corbin Carroll, that was another guy. But again, I'm not a guy. I do not put sophomores unless you're a freak in my top 10. Like I can't trust. It's baseball's different than football or basketball. Like you have to be some freak of an athlete, a freak of a hitter, or whatever it is to just keep it going. Um, Trey Turner was also one guy that I thought,
Mm-hmm.
hey man, he is. I mean, he's probably right there at the end of the list. I'll be honest with you, Julio Rodriguez is not in my top 10. I'll just be 100% with you. I to me, I he's like that next tier, like 11, 12, 13 kind
I
of
think
guy.
all these guys that we named are definitely in that 11 to 20.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I'm going to say number 10 for me is Bryce Harper. I think Bryce Harper, he's going to move to first base. At least they're saying for the most part of the year. I don't know if it's 100% certain.
Yeah, it seems like permanently at first base, no
And
more outfield.
I think what this does is this keeps him healthy, right? Like the most of his injuries came from either, going after balls or kind of these where he's, his legs are getting beat up, right? Whatever it is. I think being at first base in Philly, which we know how much he loves pulling the ball in Philly, and that place is also fun to hit at for lefties. And I just think Bryce Harper, he could have one of those years where he's dropping, 40 home runs, and we're seeing I hate to say vintage because he's not that old, but the
31, but yeah.
vintage Bryce Harper in Washington where he's unloading moonshots. So I think Bryce Harper for me at number 10.
I'm going to go ahead and follow you up with my number 9, which is also Bryce Harper.
Ah, yeah, I like it.
For a
I
lot of
like
the
it.
same reasons that you said. I almost didn't put him in here just because of health,
Yeah,
but we've seen him get a little more healthy, especially
yeah,
last season with being at first base. And in the postseason, there's not too many more guys more
yeah.
dangerous than Bryce
There's
in the
not.
playoffs. That's a
He's
guy
fun to
you don't want
watch
to be
too.
facing there. So yeah, fun to watch. I'm curious to see how he'll I guess make the not the adjustment to first base because he's already been there, but how much of an impact that'll have on his health.
Yeah,
Another guy that's not going to be on my list because of health is Mike Trout. I think a fully
yeah. That
healthy
was
Mike Trout
one
is
same for me.
incredible,
Yeah,
but
same
it's
for me.
just like the
I
last
don't know
four
what I'm
seasons
getting.
he's been playing less and less games. He hit like 260 last year. It's just
Yeah.
I hope Mike we haven't seen the last of Mike Trout because that guy was putting on like Ken Griffey Jr., Willie Mays type
Is
stats
it
on
isn't it
pace
funny?
for.
Isn't it funny how both him and Ken Griffey hit about the same age where they started getting injuries? And
Yeah,
then we never got to, like, if you think about it, what if we would have saw Ken Griffey healthy the whole time when he was in Cincinnati? Dude,
we're
this
looking at
dude's
the home
number,
run king.
we're
We're
talking
looking at the home run king.
800 home runs. I mean,
Hmm.
that's the pace he was going, and he was a freak at every part
For
of the
sure.
game. Welcome to turf. That's what I tell people.
It could be welcome to turf. It could be secret steroids, some people say, but I don't think it
Dude,
was.
no,
I think it
he
was
was a
just
rail, dude.
age.
He was
Yeah,
so skinny most of his career.
most of his career,
Sweet
absolutely,
swing.
yeah. But anyway, back to Harper. Yeah, I got him at 9. It could be higher if we had
Yeah.
a guaranteed 160, 150 games from him, but I'm gonna keep him at 9, just because I'm unsure about the health.
Yeah, for me, I'm gonna kind of I feel like we're flip flopping a lot, but I'm gonna go Juan Soto. I don't think he's a top 7 player right now. I To me, Juan Soto is one of those guys that I feel like it's like every other year. Maybe you get what I'm saying. Like I feel like it's every other year with him. Like he has a really good year, and then the next year it's like, well, something's missing, right? And I know you were hoping the Guardians would have picked him up, whatever a year ago it was, or a year and a half ago, or whatever it was.
Really did.
Um, I think I agree with what you said, and that the left porch or the right field porch, I think is just that's asking for Juan Soto to hit like 35 bombs, right? Like, the only fear I have with Juan Soto is will he stay healthy, and how healthy does the Yankees lineup stay? Because I believe that if Judge is injured and Stanton's not healthy and some of these dudes are not healthy, then you can pitch around Soto, right? And so to me, I think that's where where you got to play a little bit of hey, let's make sure he stays healthy and everyone else does too.
Probably my funnest fact about Juan Soto is that he's younger than Adley Rauchman still.
That is nuts. That is mind-boggling.
It is.
It's kind of like Bryce Harper. We always thought he was old, and then he's like 31. He's played for 14 years or whatever it
Hmm.
is. Ridiculous.
So for me, 4 through 8 were the hardest to rank. I think you could argue a different order. We're going
Yeah,
to see some flip-flopping here in this, but
for
I
sure.
imagine we're going to have a lot of the same names.
Yeah.
8 is Corey Seager.
Oh, interesting.
I
Interesting.
wanted to put him up higher,
Mm-hmm.
but I think all the guys above him have better power. Um, I know that Corey has also had. Uh,
Or are we saying there's no
his,
pitcher in your top 10?
oh yeah, if you want a spoiler, there's no pitcher in my top 10. I did not put a token pitcher in my top 10.
Oh, oh,
But
okay.
Corey is at 8, I decided, even though he led the league in doubles last year and
Yeah,
was absolutely unstoppable in the playoffs. There's the health concerns again.
yeah,
But if I could guarantee, 150 games out of Corey Seager, I mean, this is a guy that's won Rookie of the Year, 4-time All-Star,
yeah.
3-time Silver Slugger, 2-time World Series MVP already. I got him at 8 because of health, but you could definitely argue way higher.
Yeah.
Love Corey Seager.
For me at 8. Okay, this is not a token pitcher. This is just me being a pitcher, and I know how hard it is to be a pitcher, and especially I think a really good one. Spencer Strider was a guy that came up, but I'm like, nah, he's still too young. He hasn't really experienced anything. But I'm gonna have to stick with Garrett Cole. Like if I look at the landscape of pitchers right now, Verlander's never healthy. Scherzer might not be healthy. I mean, how many of these dudes are like injured, right? Like we don't have like a stud outside of Garrett Cole that's healthy. I would love to
DeGrom's
put
another one that's like
I would love
always
to
hurt.
put
Yeah.
I would love to put Hunter Green, but obviously, he's way off. But no, I think Garrett Cole at 8, I think what he can do for that Yankees rotation, he can be that, that bolster head. And you don't really have a lot of issues with his injury, history. So for me, I just think I believe that there is because I took out Julio Rodriguez, I had to put someone in there. And I felt like, to me, he is a top 8 player in Major League. If you take away Otani's pitching, obviously.
Garrett Cole led the league last year in innings, shutouts,
It's unreal, dude.
starts, and ERA. So very solid. I won't argue it. I just felt like I would much rather have all these other hitters.
I get you. I got you. I got you.
Number 7, this is a guy that did not make it on the MLB's top 10 list,
Yeah. Ooh,
but
we jumped
I think
real
they
up.
missed one. I think they missed one.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Olson.
Yeah, that was one I was flirting with that one. I
Matt
didn't.
Olson, and I've been mentioning health for a reason that not many of these guys have been ranked higher. Matt Olson has played
He's
162
so
games
healthy, dude.
each of the last 2 years,
Yeah,
and 3 times in his career already.
and he hit
Last year in
50
the National
bombs.
League, Last year in the National League, 54 bombs, 139 RBIs, lead National League. 604 slugging percentage, also led the National League. The dude can hit, and they're paying him much less than they would have Freddie Freeman, who
Yeah,
I still think is a better player, but I don't think they're missing Freddie too much when you can plug in Matt Olson, have a huge first baseman that's solid at
yeah,
defense, a big target that you can throw to, and then just also an incredible hitter at the plate. He's got 2 Gold Gloves so far. He's a 2-time All-Star, a Silver Slugger already. I think that if he does one more season of what he's been doing in Atlanta this year, he's finally going to get the respect he deserves. So Matt Olson for me over here at number 7.
yeah. 7 for me. I will say and I think 2 of them I'll have a shocker, but 7 for me. I kind of tossed between 2 guys, and the guy I ended up with was Corey Seager. Um, I just it's really hard because I feel like Corey has been one of those guys that he's very consistent, yet he still scares me as a baseball. I don't know why. I feel like there's times where he's on fire, man, and like this dude can just hit and hit and hit. And there's other times where I'm like he kind of disappears at times. So for me though, I think when he's on, and we saw it in the postseason, we saw it throughout the year last year, like he is a top 10 player in Major League Baseball. And for me, Corey Seager fits the bill defensively as well.
Hmm. All right. We are at number 6 now.
Yes.
I got Yordan Alvarez.
Ooh, nice one. Mm.
Only 114 games last year, so the totals were down. 31 homers, 97
He's a
RBIs,
stud, dude.
to hit 293, but yes, a stud. And the other thing, while I don't have the health, I know that I'm going to get popped in the playoffs
Yes.
because Jordan hits tanks in the playoffs. So,
Smooth swing too.
yes, smooth swing's been a rookie of the year, has been a top 3 finalist in MVP. He's a
And he's
2-time
an older guy
All-Star.
too. Isn't he like 30
26,
already? No, he's
26.
26. I felt he was older. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he's going into his 6th season now.
And
So
he didn't play. He played sparingly, I think, up to what, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, he started playing more.
2021 season is when he played
Yeah.
144
Yeah. Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
Before that, he was limited. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's still relatively new that he's been a staple in that Houston Astros lineup. But yeah, Yordan Alvarez, out here at 6
We
for
used
me.
to we used to say Jose Altuve in this spot. Once upon a
We
time.
did.
And number 6 for me is also Yordan Alvarez. We agreed. Josh and I
On
agreed.
one.
We can stop
We
it
got
here.
one.
We got one. We can stop it now. We're good. We're good. No, Yordan Alvarez. I mean, he is yeah, he's fun. I actually enjoy watching him play, man. Like he's just really fun to watch swing the bat. Again, I think he's one of those guys that I think he's kind of a sneaky good player, if that makes sense. Like no one talks about him, I think, a lot. Like we talk about him, we don't really brag about him, and I think he's a guy that needs to be bragged about because he's a really good player.
Mm-hmm. Number 5,
Oh, this one about to shock people.
potentially controversial, a little lower than what I think most people would put. Aaron Judge.
Stop it. No.
Are you at Aaron Judge at
Are we
5 as
seriously
well?
doing this too? 2 in a
Are you
row.
Aaron Judge 5? Two
Yes,
in a
I
row?
am. I can't. All right, you give your reason because I don't
Okay.
want to spoil your reasoning. Go go
I
go
mean,
go.
at his best, Aaron Judge is probably the most dangerous power hitter in the league because he's already led the league in home runs twice, 52 one season, 62 another, which is the AL record, by the way. But you look in between there, he's played 112 games, 102 games, 28 games,
Like
just 106
Giancarlo
games last year.
Stanton.
Yes. And I could have even had him lower because of that.
Yeah,
But because of the max
potential
potential he does show and the great glove he has in right field,
center
granted,
field actually. He might play some
it
center this year.
might play some center. Okay. Well, at least in right field, I know the fence only goes up to about knee high for him, being as big as he is and how low that fence is. Still a great defender out there, which I do value to an extent. It's not, I don't value defense as much as most of these MLB stat guys do, but Aaron Judge has been an MVP, a home run derby champ, a 3-time Silver Slugger, rookie there, a 5-time All-Star. The guy can play. I just wish I could see
Yeah,
him play more.
yeah,
So for those reasons, at 5. I hope he doesn't turn into a Mike Trout situation,
yeah.
but
Is it funny how when a guy wins the home run derby in baseball, we put it as an accomplishment, and then when anybody wins like a dunk contest in NBA, we're just like, eh. Uh,
it's because we know in the MLB he went against 7 of the best power hitters in the league.
exactly.
It was by
Point.
merit.
Exactly. Um, this is very funny because people don't realize. I think if you're new, like listening, Josh and I never agree on these lists. All right, like it's a
Not
rarity
very often.
that we come in the same mind space. But I was thinking the exact same thing as you, and the main thing was injury. Like I've said this whole time, like injury to me is what scares me from some of these players. And for me, like, yeah, Aaron Judge can get you 60 home runs, but what happens if he doesn't play? We saw what happened with the Yankees. Like they just kind of all folded. So to me, I just think he's if he changes it this year, then yeah, he's a top 2 player, top 3 player. But for me right now, he's a top 5 player.
As much, and I know that strikeouts are going up in the league and stuff, and
Yeah.
people don't really care about him as much, but he's only had one season where he had more hits than
Yeah.
strikeouts.
Which is
I watched the
shocker to
Cleveland
me.
Indians in the playoffs a few years back just routinely strike him out every time he came up with breaking
I think it's
balls.
because he hits moonshots, so people forget about it.
Yeah. That helps a
He's
lot too when you hit a lot
six
of
foot eight,
bombs.
6'8",
Yeah.
270 pounds. Like,
When you hit a lot of bombs, people don't really care if you're strikeouts. They're like, oh, those are just outs at the end of
have
the
you
day
ever
anyways.
thought
Who
about
cares
what?
if it was a ground out or a fly out or a
Have you ever
strikeout?
thought what it would have been like to face him in high school? Like you're just like a little short pitcher, you know, a kid that from like middle of nowhere, and you're just like throwing like
High
fastballs,
school Aaron
just
Judge.
popping it.
No, it seems like Aaron Judge just got to the league too. Maybe I'm just
Dude,
old
I
and
know
time's flown
we
by,
we
but
are old.
he's 31. He's
Yeah,
as
we
old as
are
Bryce
old, dude.
Harper. It feels like we've been watching Bryce a little longer than
That
Judge
is
though.
true. That is true. Wow. Maybe
All
we
right,
get 3 in a row. 3 in a row.
number 4, Freddie Freeman.
Oh, yes.
I'm taking
Sorry, I was looking at
yes.
my list. Yeah, sorry, I was looking at my list. I couldn't find my list.
Okay,
Yes, Freddie Freeman, number 4 for me. 3 in
I
a
touched
row.
3 in a row. I touched on Freddie earlier. I think
Yes,
I'm obviously still taking him ahead of Matt Olson. Um, Matt Olson brings
he's
the
a good
power,
hitter,
but
man.
Freddie brings the
Dude, he's so good.
consistency, and he's also on the field a lot.
Yeah,
159 games, 159 games,
he's a great
161 games
dude.
are his last 3 seasons.
He's a great
Probably
dude.
very hard to hate on Freddie Freeman.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right. Led the league in doubles last year. He's led the league in doubles 4 times throughout his career. He's led the league in hits a few times throughout his career. He's led the league in runs several times throughout his career, and
which
that's
is
like a 2 or
impressive.
3 hitter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
very impressive. Batting average 331 last year, lifetime 301. He gets on
He's like
base.
the new
Slugging
version of
percentage is
Joey
there.
Votto. He's like the new version of Joey
That
Votto.
is very true.
That's pretty much what he is.
Without, I don't know how many walks he has compared to Joey
Yeah.
Votto. I mean, I can read them right here. I don't know if these are high numbers, like 72, 84,
No,
85.
Votto is always over 100 easily.
Oh, it's over 100. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Freddie, I mean, he's been doing it for, this is going on year 15 for him, and he's going to turn 34, I think, this year.
Yeah.
And
And
the
he
dude's just
started
consistent.
earlier than Votto because Votto didn't start till he was like 24 or
Okay.
like
Yeah.
23.
Freddie made his debut when he was 20.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but every time I watch him, doesn't he remind you of Joey Votto? Like the way he approaches the plate, the way he kind of has a goofy, fun personality, like just reminds me of a newer version. It's like a
Yeah.
new car upgrade, right? So it's
A
like,
little bit.
it's just a little bit
Yeah.
different,
Yeah, 7-time All-Star, 3-time Silver Slugger. He's won a Gold Glove, so he's flashes the leather over there. Has been an MVP.
just like Votto.
Just consistent, just consistent. Can do so many things very well in this game, and so I'm gonna have him at 4 on my list.
Yeah, I'm gonna have him at 4 as well. Again, I'm gonna just call him this year Mini Joey Votto. He's gonna be the new Joey Votto. That's pretty much what he is. No, I like guys like him. That's why I love Joey Votto because he's a guy that can field. He's a guy that's gonna be consistently on outside of Joey Votto's last few years, consistently on the field. He's gonna hit with power if you need him to, but he's ultimately just gonna be a great contact hitter. He's gonna get on base, and he's a great leader. And I think for me, also in the top 5, you need to be a great leader. You need to be a clubhouse guy. You need to be a guy that guys look up at. And for me, Freddie Freeman checks those boxes, and I think just makes him, I think, one of the best players in baseball.
Mm.
This is where I
All
think we're
right,
going to differ. We're going to differ on this one. I have a feeling.
we could. You already said you'd put Shohei at 2 or 3, and I'm gonna go ahead and say that I have Otani at 3.
Yeah, we're not going to agree on this. Oh wait,
Okay,
no, we're not. No, we're not agreeing. Nope,
we're
not
not
agreeing.
okay. I think you could argue for Shohei to be 1 as only a hitter. I just
Yeah,
would like to see some
yeah,
defense, but also as a hitter. Like we already mentioned, he's gonna have a lot of guys around him, so he's gonna have to be pitched to a lot more. It's gonna be interesting seeing that
yeah.
from that
He
perspective.
hasn't had that many
He
at bats,
and he only has to focus on hitting. He has to
yes,
dedicate no time to pitching,
which is going to be
or
scary.
much less.
Which is going
Yes.
to be scary.
So you could easily project Shohei 1 or 2, but I got
70
two
home runs.
guys that I think bring a little more to the table than just hitting. And also, I think you got to keep in mind the way that we saw him hit last year is the first time that we've really seen him hit at that level, honestly.
Yeah.
Before that, I mean, we've seen him hit 46 home runs, 34 home runs, and 44 last year. The RBIs have never been more than 100 in a season. The first time he hit 300 was last year. So,
Yeah.
I mean, he's been progressing, but that is also still the first time that we've seen him hit like that. But
Yeah.
there's all the arguments for why it could be better.
Yeah. I
So I'm putting him at 3, but I wouldn't argue if you put him at 2.
well,
I
this is
don't
the
think I'd put him
thing.
at 1 though.
I really wanted to put these two guys like tied for second. But we don't believe in ties on this show. You don't have a participation trophy, all right? You win or you lose, okay? Um and for me, I have Mookie at 3. I just and I don't know why necessarily. Like it sounds terrible. I don't know why. But for me, I just think they're like Mookie is great at wherever you put him. Like he plays second base, he can play outfield. He's great all around. Again, it comes down to the margins, and it's almost like does this make sense? The fear of facing Shohei. I don't know if that makes sense. If that's even a quality to have, but to me, it's splitting hairs. I think Shohei obviously, I think gives you a little bit different a style of hitter. I think Mookie, who by the way has a lot of power for a guy that's like what 5'10", like he's not a big dude.
He's a little dude.
Yeah,
He's a leadoff
and
hitter.
he also So for me, it's really tough. I could put either way. Again, I think with Mookie, yes, he gives you the base running ability, he gives you the outfield ability. But again, I go back to my adage of I believe Shohei is the best player in baseball, and it's really hard for me to just keep seeping him down just because he's not pitching. And I ultimately think the projection of what Shohei can be this year, I think gives him maybe a little bit more of an edge on what Mookie already is and what he might be. But again, Mookie's getting older. Again, what's his health going to be like as well? So for me, it's very close, but Mookie at 3.
Yeah, I mean, just coming down to fear, Mookie hit 307, Shohei hit 304 last year. Mookie hit 39 homers. I believe Shohei was 44. Shohei
Yeah.
100 RBIs. Mookie Betts 107, so it's very even.
That's what I'm saying.
But
It's hairs.
but we are going to get Mookie's glove, and he's a 6-time
Yeah.
Gold Glove winner. He can play second
Yep.
base and he can play outfield. He can run the bases very well. So I have him at 2 for those reasons. The
Got it.
5 tool aspect,
100%.
I
Yeah,
love it.
100%.
So you kind of already mentioned Mookie, why you put him at 3, and I mean those are a lot of the reasons why I got him at 2, to be honest.
Yeah.
The other thing with Mookie, and this is also something I'm excited to see with Shohei, is we're finally going to get to see Shohei play in the playoffs this year.
Yeah.
Knock on wood, if you're a Dodgers fan.
Oh, I would
You
love it.
spent too
To be
much. You
honest,
spent too much money.
as a Reds fan, I would totally love it if they missed the playoffs. That
You
would be
spent
so
too
much
much money.
fun.
You better be in the playoffs. You brought Glasnow over. You brought Yamamoto over. You brought Otani over.
That's the guy
You
I'm
got to
more
be in the
excited to
playoffs.
see.
And we're going to
Yeah.
get to see Shohei in the playoffs. We saw Mookie go 0 for 11, I think, last year in the playoffs, and 1 for 11. I
Yeah.
don't like that. I don't
No.
like that. Especially when I argued for a lot of these guys to be higher than some others because of playoff stats, which is why Mookie may not be my one
Yeah.
also. But I haven't gotten to see Shohei in the playoffs, but I'm
No,
excited to see
no.
that.
Again, dude, to me, it's not like, and again, I've already shared why I have Shohei at 2 because Shohei's at 2 for me. Again, like you said, and that's the hard part, man, is like I feel like when you talk, I'm just like, man, maybe I should switch it. But no, I think that's how close it is with these two. Like they're very not similar, but they're very like the way that they're valued is very similar, right? And again, we haven't seen Shohei play in the playoffs. Like we don't know what he's going to be like in the playoffs, but I've seen him in the World Baseball Classic.
Hmm.
He struck out Mike Trout in the biggest out of what they needed, right? So I've seen what he does at a level that, by the way, World Baseball Classic, there was a lot of people there. In some cases, would say as many people as would be at a World Series. So for me, Shohei has proven at a international stage what it means to be at the top. Now, let's see what happens when you put him in the playoffs and you say, "Hey, go get us that hit." Right? And then when he pitches in the next year, "Hey, go get us that win when we need you." So, for me, and again, I would not I know they say he won't pitch until 2025, but if you make the playoffs, I'm just saying. I'm not I'm just saying this because it will have been over a year. The whole timetable would have already been done. I'm just saying they haven't said this, but I wouldn't be shocked if they're trying to save him until it absolutely is needed in the playoffs. But again, Shohei for me at 2.
So I think that means we got the same number one.
Maybe. I mean, I could have Ellie De La Cruz. You never know.
Number one for me is Ronald Acuna Jr.
Yes, you're correct. That is exactly who I have.
Last year, last year I got to see
Dude's
Ronald
unreal,
Acuna
dude.
do exactly what I always thought he was capable of doing as a
Steal
five-tool
bases.
guy. Led the National League in just about every stat. Led the National League in runs. He led in hits. Stolen
Stolen
bases was
bases.
73. That's the most we've seen in a while.
Since Juan
On base
Pierre, I think.
percentage,
Juan Pierre,
416,
maybe. I don't know. I think that's his name.
maybe. One Pierre Ichiro or Billy Hamilton.
Yeah.
OPS plus of 168. His WAR was 8.4. Total bases 383, and he was the National League MVP. This guy has always had this potential in him, and I think he fully realized it last year. And I mean, the rule changes helped with the stolen bases, obviously, but we saw a little more pop in his bat with the 41 home runs, and it wouldn't shock me if he went ahead and did this again because this Braves team's still loaded.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think the crazy part about him is that his fielding, I even think, got better. Like I think everything in his game got
That's
better,
probably the biggest knock on his game
which
right now is his glove, which
but
I
it's
don't
gotten
think
better. I think it's
sucks,
gotten
but
better.
yeah.
No, I think if you put him on the Reds or any other team, the Guardians or whoever it would be, like he'd be the best, one of the best fielders, if not the best fielder in the outfield. Right? It's just the fact that I think everyone stares at his bat and is like, dude, this dude can hit. You know, they're comparing him to Ken Griffey or Willie Mays. And it's like, stop comparing him, dude. The dude's a freak. He's a separate world. Like no one's seen. I mean, everyone's like, well, he steals bases like Ricky Henderson. Yeah, but Ricky Henderson wasn't hitting 35 bombs, right? Well, he's like Ken Griffey Jr. It's like, well, he's a righty, so he's not, right? Like there's so many things about him that make him so unique. And I think that's what's really fun for me to watch is I get to see kind of like he's just fun to watch. Like I've never seen him live in person, but I'm sure it's an incredible thing to see. I'm just more fascinated. What will be greater, the amount of errors he has this year, or the amount of chains he wears this year? Because I'm pretty sure the guy wears 85 chains on his neck, which has to weigh him down.
And still
It's got to weigh
has
him down.
blazing speed to steal 70
What
bags,
it, okay,
dude.
I played baseball and to me it just seems so annoying to have like all this metal jangling like
So
5 inches.
counterproductive.
So
Yeah.
ridiculous.
He
But then
had 10
again,
errors last year, so he would need 11 chains.
which to be honest, he might already be there, to be honest with you.
It'll be close, but
I think Josh, the next time he does bodybuilding, he just needs to wear chains like while he's posing. It's just wearing chains.
just wear chains.
Yeah,
That won't be a distraction.
just wear some bling. Some
All
bling
right.
bling.
So we were in agreement on 1. We
We
flip-flopped
are
2 and 3. We were in agreement on 4,
4,
5, and
5,
6, I
6. Yep.
believe.
Yep.
And then we had kind of the same guys, 7 to 10, except you had Garrett Cole in there and I had Matt
Yes.
Olson.
Yeah.
But interesting.
We
We
were
were a lot
actually
more. We
we
were a
are
lot more on
growing.
pace than what I thought we'd be.
Josh, we're growing in the show. We are becoming one-minded.
We're becoming one mind. Yeah, we pretty soon we're gonna be saying the same thing, and then we're gonna need to like intentionally be like a Skip Bayless so that we actually have some disagreements.
True. So true. Or a
Man,
Mad
top
Dog.
10.
Or Mad Dog.
Yeah, but I imagine some people are gonna argue for Jose Ramirez. Some people are gonna argue for
He
Tatis,
just
Trout, Julio Rodriguez.
Julio Rodriguez does
There's a
not
lot of
deserve to be in the
names.
top 10 yet. I'm sorry. That just drives me nuts. I'm sorry. He's played in the league for 2 years. Like, anyways. Ah, enough of
I
that.
would love to hear in the comment section
Yes,
which ranking you disagree with the most, and
agreed.
if we missed anybody.
The thing is, though, I feel like if they disagree, they're gonna have to really pick part because we were so close. They're gonna have to really like nitpick the little things.
Yeah, and I'm also not necessarily married to the set in stone. Like I said, I would hear an argument and even
That's
like be
true.
like, oh yeah, I could see you putting this guy higher or this guy lower. Aaron Judge at 5, I think is gonna be lower than most, but
I think
I got my
a
reasons.
lot of people will be very upset about the Aaron Judge one. I could just see it now. Like, Josh, Ben, what are you doing? It's like, okay, show me evidence that that man's gonna be healthy 160 games, and I will be more than happy to move him up.
Here's the other thing that I just find fascinating about this MLB season. So your list in particular had
Yeah.
3 Yankees
Yes.
and 3 Dodgers.
Correct.
6 of the top 10 players are on 2 teams
And then both of them probably won't make the World Series because that's what happens in baseball.
because that's how it works. Yep.
The Dodgers choke.
Man, yeah. And
It's
then in
nuts.
mine, I got like the Matt Olson with the 2, and then the 2 Braves. So that's
Yeah.
like 8 of the top 10 in, or no, that'd be 7 with mine because I don't have Cole. But split among 3 teams is crazy. Yeah.
Nuts.
We got some loaded rosters this year.
That is true. I know there's some other things, Josh, that were on your mind and during the week that you
Oh,
want to
yeah.
share.
So besides baseball, I think we got some fun
Yes.
things or some fun things to whine about as far as college football goes.
Oh, the fun joy of whining about college football. What's new?
Yes. And losing college football as we know it, it becoming more
Oh
like a minor league
gosh.
NFL,
It's gonna be
losing its
March
uniqueness.
Madness is what's gonna be coming. That's what it is. It's just
But
gonna be like a
let's
tournament.
just start with how they're going to do the 12 team from
God,
2024 to 26. They announced that the format will be a 5-7. So before they
why
were thinking 6, the 6 best conference champions with the Pac-12. Now with the Pac-12 just like being
dissolved,
a can't yeah, dissolving,
dissolving
dying, how whatever word
like
you want to use to
baking
describe
soda?
it, doesn't exist anymore. Now they decided that the top 5 seeds will be the 5 highest seeded conference champions,
Okay, I
which
guess.
fascinates me because
So weird.
that means that you have the Big 10, the SEC,
Yep.
the Big 12, the ACC, and then the American, the Sun Belt,
Like what?
the Mountain
I
West.
guess Mount West
Who's going to
might
be
be.
that 5th?
But I guess Mount West would probably be the one that ends up getting it.
I'm just thinking
Probably.
of like some of the conference champions that could be from G5, like Tulane. I imagine
Like
Tulane could have a
Liberty.
5 seed.
Liberty's
Liberty
in
could
what?
have
The
a.
Sun Belt?
Is Liberty in a conference? I think they might have been
Yeah.
independent at one point too.
Yeah, but I thought they're in their conference now because they're in like Coastal Carolina's conference, I thought. But maybe I'm wrong
Okay, let me see if I can find that here real quick.
because I can't
Because I mean
remember.
that'd be another one. Let's see if I have a conference affiliation here.
I know in basketball they're in the Sun Belt. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure in basketball they're in the Sun Belt. I don't
What
know if that's
conference is Liberty
I don't
football
know. Yeah,
in?
I don't know if it's all the way through.
Okay, Fox or at least Google is giving me Conference USA.
Yeah, that makes sense actually. That would make sense. I don't think it is. I don't know if it's for basketball. I just know it's for I know football they were different. I just couldn't remember what.
Okay.
So but even then, Conference USA like dude, it's just wild.
We're gonna give Liberty, we're gonna give Tulane a top 5 seed in the playoffs.
But then you're gonna play. Okay, no offense to these places. All right, I've heard Liberty's stadium is awesome, the atmosphere. You're gonna tell me an SEC school is gonna pull up to Liberty for a playoff game?
That
Like
will be a home game. The top 4 get the bye,
that's what
but
I'm
that 5th are
that's what
gonna
I'm
get a home
saying.
playoff game.
It's
Yep.
so weird to me. Like
Hmm.
it's
We
eh,
could see LSU at Liberty in the playoffs.
like again, I think it's awesome that these other teams are getting a chance. I think it's cool that these non-power fives are getting a chance to be in the playoff. I think it's awesome. But come on, you're gonna tell me that like a sixth ranked like team that wasn't a conference champion is just gonna have to now go on the road and then annihilate someone at their own place, right? Like I don't know. There's a lot of
Well,
this.
that's the point that I was just going to bring up. Like
It's like
most
so
likely
confusing.
in the playoff poll, Liberty, without any auto bids being included, would finish. They weren't even top 10 in the
No,
poll last year, right?
no, they'd be like they'd be in the late teens, maybe late
Late
teens.
teens. So they're going to finish the regular season ranked like 16 and then get bumped up to 5 because they won their conference and
Exactly.
beat Western Kentucky.
And you're gonna skip over all these other teams that are, no offense, probably more well deserving to be in the playoff.
Correct.
Like for Florida, for instance, Florida might be 7-5 and ranked number 18 in the
We could
country.
have at the end of the season a 1 versus 2 Georgia versus LSU as well.
Exactly.
And one of them that wins will get that 1 seed, and the other one is going to have to fall to at least 6. It's crazy, man.
Why can't they ruin? Why do they have to ruin something that was so good and wholesome?
This is the part that fascinates me though. Notre Dame, if they ever get back to what their fans believe they could be, and they go undefeated 12-0, the highest seed they can possibly be in the playoff poll is a 6.
Which, you know what? To be honest with you, makes me so happy because
I
it
kind of
finally,
like that because
it's like go
this is
to
the
a league,
incentive that could force Notre Dame to go to a
go to
conference.
a
The best they can
conference.
ever be in the playoff is a 6.
Like they're basically saying, "Screw you. We've given you an opportunity,
Yep.
and you screwed it over."
Join a conference.
That, to be honest,
So
that might be the best news that came out of this is the fact that Notre
this
Dame is going to be screwed.
yes. This is also good that they did that because Notre Dame does not have a conference championship game to play, so they will
And
play.
Notre Dame's just greedy. Like they just want the money that they get from these deals. Like they don't. It's not. It has nothing to do with like it's either that or they're scared because they should be in the Big Ten. They should have been in the Big Ten like
A long
moons
time
ago.
ago. Just makes way too much sense. But 12-game regular season, they would not have a conference championship, and they could get a bye if they were one of those or top 4 seeds. So
Yeah.
by this point, a team could have already played 14 games if they lost a conference championship game and then had to go play a road playoff game. That's 14 games for them already. Notre Dame's just chilling here fresh at 12. So I like that it kind of offsets that they don't play a conference championship game, that they at least have to play that first round in the playoffs.
Yeah. Which I like. Again, this whole thing, man, it's just it's weird. Again, it's kind of like the I know I was very against the college football playoff when it first came out when I was in high school. And it was also weird for me that first time. I felt like really weird and like gross. I was like, this is just wrong. It's
Until you saw Ohio
football.
State win the first one, you're like, yes, we
Of
wouldn't have even been in the
course.
national
Duh.
championship under the BCS
Duh.
era. I
Uh
love college football playoffs.
of course.
Undisputed now. Anybody can win. And the media sold you on that lie, that narrative, and now they've expanded it to 12 teams because anybody can win a championship, Ben. We are going to let 12
Yes,
teams,
because Ohio
whether
State's
big or
anybody.
small, have a shot
Because
on an
Ohio State's
equal
anybody.
playing field.
Jeez.
I had to do it.
This is just one of those things where it's like what's going to happen in like 80 years when like people are looking back at this time in college football and going, what the heck were they thinking? Like
What were
it's
they
gonna
thinking?
like what are they doing? Like in 60 years it's gonna go back to like the BCS format and they're gonna be like, why did they ever get away from this? Like that's what's gonna happen. It's just gonna be like
Yeah.
we're gonna be like 90 years old and be like still doing the podcast, by the way. And struggling to understand what's going on because Josh and I will be sitting in our nursing home together doing the podcast.
I think Josh Pate on Late Kick articulates how I feel the best. I struggle to bring to words how I feel about college football and why I don't like the playoff, but he explains it perfectly. I'm like, yes, everything he says. I'm like, yes, yes. That's how I feel. I've never been able to word it that way. So
Yeah.
if you guys are looking for college football content in the off season, not
And
many better places to go than Late Kick.
hold up, we know you were sneaking this one in. Someone else on this show ended up on Josh Pate's show. Do you want to explain your on your little excursion into media fame?
Yes, Josh will do the Late Kick Extra podcast, he calls it, where he does like a mailbag Q&A.
Yeah.
On Twitter, he'll say, send all your questions, and there's hundreds of submissions. So unless you ask a really good one or you're very early on, good luck ever getting on the show. But I just tweeted out
Josh
in
just waits by his
response one
phone.
day.
He waits by his phone. He's like, all right, when's
I
he gonna
got the
send it
tweet
out?
notifications on my phone for Josh, yes. But I asked which transfer quarterbacks will make the biggest impact on their new teams in 2024. Now, it did not make the Late Kick Extra podcast episode, but it made the next one. He had a couple leftover questions that he wanted to fill some time in on. And he took the opportunity to put my face up on the big screen, said he loved the name Josh. I don't have any idea why. And proceeded to
That's
name
so
off
cool.
Dylan Gabriel at Oregon, uh, Will Howard
That's
at
so
Ohio
cool.
State, Cam Ward at Miami, Riley Leonard at Notre Dame.
How do you
And I
feel,
think Grayson
Josh?
and I think Grayson McCall at NC State were the five that he gave me.
How do you feel, Josh? Do you feel like a connection now?
A little bit. He's replied back to me on Twitter a couple times, but I never made it on the show in
So
front of everybody
now, so
else.
now basically you're gonna be like his sub co-host. Like you're gonna be like when he's out, you're gonna be like, "Hey, Josh, come fill in for
I
me."
could be, unless Bradley the associate wants to like make a case for why it should be him. I think I can
That's
make
true.
a great fill-in for one
I,
day.
I agree. I agree. And I'm totally for this. And when he posted this, I was like kind of in awe. And so I went to try to figure out which episode it was. Could you tell like the date it was so that maybe if people are listening, they want to go see it? What I think it was like February 7th, if I'm correct. I think it was February 7th one or 17th. Could be 17th.
Let me go ahead and pull up the Late Kick YouTube.
Because I cannot remember, to be honest with you, because I just remember seeing the post and I don't remember the actual.
I hadn't even listened to the episode yet when I first heard about it first. Someone else that was listening live, from Bellevue, actually, um, somebody that I didn't know found me on Twitter and just sent me a random DM and said, "Hey, I hope this isn't weird, but I heard Bellevue, Ohio on Late Kick tonight and saw it was you
It's
and
just
told me that
weird.
like we made it." Yeah. So let's see. Um,
Because I tried to look for it and I don't think I actually ended up finding it because I ran out of time to look for it. But
okay. Let me see. What is today's date?
today is the 23rd as we're recording this.
Okay.
So everyone can understand that we record like 2 days before it actually comes out. So they don't get on my case for why it's not out right away.
I'm checking to see if he made it like a mini
I don't
video
think he
like
did
on
because I
YouTube.
looked for that. I think it's in like the longer stretch ones. I just didn't have
Okay.
time to like go through. But anyways,
Okay, so I'll go ahead and look up the live episodes here and see if I can find the one that I
and
played.
if he finds it, maybe Josh can like repost it on our
Link it on
Instagram.
the Instagram
Yeah, so
story.
that way people can go watch it and see Josh and his fame. But as that's going on, I do want to
I'm gonna
say,
have to do that. Yeah, you guys are gonna
yeah,
have to tune in. I
do
I
it.
can't find it right
Yeah,
now.
so
I don't want
Josh
to
will
scroll
find it.
through
Yes, Josh will
all
find it,
these.
and then once he finds it, he can then link it on the Instagram story, and you'll be able to see it. But Josh, that's not the only crazy things going on in college football. I know you had some other things that popped up before we finished the show today. What was the other
Yeah,
thing that happened? There's another thing that kind of popped up out of nowhere. No one really
we
saw
are
it coming.
getting a lot of info about the
We
NCAA
are,
football video game.
and
We
I
know
can't.
that
Oh, it's
we
gonna
know
be
that the
fun.
players will get $600 plus a copy of the
That's
game for opting
crazy.
in. People like Travis Hunter, Shador Sanders have already said they'll be in the game, which is cool. To know that some of the biggest superstars
I feel like
in
everyone will
the
though, don't you? Like I feel like no one's gonna opt out because
well,
of the money,
this is what I was getting at. That's two of the biggest superstars, probably two of the biggest NIL
and they're
yielding
like, I just want
athletes
to
in the
be in it.
game, and they just want to be in it, right? But then you got people like Mike Florio over at Pro Football Talk and Hawes Fassett over at On3 saying that this is taking advantage of kids, giving them only $600 to be in the game. And it's like, okay,
But
how many guys in college football actually bring value to the game? How many people are buying that game to play with them specifically? There's maybe 5 to 10 guys in college football like that have that kind of effect on the game. And instead of paying everybody based on like estimated value, I think this flat fee for everybody is the fairest
it's
way
smart.
to go about it.
It's smart, but it's also like I'm not getting the game. I'm not gonna like. I hope someone's not getting paid $2,000 for a guy that's a third string. Maybe makes the roster every so often. Like you know what
Right.
I'm saying. Like to me, it's awesome to see that the players getting paid. But you know what's even more awesome is like what you said. The top guys at Ohio State's doing it already. They've come out and said it. They don't care about the money. This has been a dream for these guys since they were 5
Yep.
to be in a game. And the fact that you can be a third string quarterback at, let's say, FAMU, right? Or at Texas State, you could be a third string quarterback and you get to be in a video game.
And you get
Think
to
about
make
it.
six
Think
hundred
about this.
dollars to be in the game.
Look at Madden. The guys that are in the CFL, they don't get to make it. The guys that are in the European Football League, they don't get to make it. You literally could be at a very bad school and you get to be in a college football video game. And I'm sorry, I grew up on college football. I quoted this in Facebook. I said, "You don't have to pay me a dime. Just put me
Hmm.
in the game and give me a copy and I'm all good to go."
Well, if you ever did have anyone that was too selfish and didn't want to be in the game because 600 wasn't enough, I did see that you cannot create a player and name them after a player that did not opt in.
That is fascinating. So
So let's
basically
just
it's like
say
a
Quinn Ewers,
punishment.
for example. Quinn
Yeah, so
Ewers
it's like a
does not opt
punishment.
in. You cannot create a player, name him Quinn Ewers, and put him on Texas. The game will not let you do that.
Which I think's smart because it's basically not punishing the players, but in a way it is. It's saying like, okay, you didn't want
You
it,
can't even
so
be in as a created player.
yeah. Which is weird though, because what if there's a player that I don't know how that works, but like, what if there's a guy like your name is after the
Your
guy
name
that
is a guy in college
yeah,
football that opted out. Yeah. Like
that's
something
just
generic,
awkward.
like let's just say Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah,
There's got to be more Jeremiah Smiths out there, right?
exactly. It's just weird. But I know I think it's gonna be
Interesting.
fun. The
Yeah.
only thing that's frustrating is that I have a gaming laptop and I have an old PS4. I'm like, dude, if I want to get this game, I gotta go buy a freaking new
You have to go.
console.
That's kind of where I'm at right now. I have no console right now at all.
Yes. And the thing is, I could go get used ones, but I'm in Europe. Like, I don't really trust the market of used consoles here.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay. So my wife's like, hey, you tutor, so I'm gonna like put aside some money every month. Like, this is my getting
Right.
college. She's like, is the game really that important? And I'm like, listen, I've waited 10 years, 10 years to have a college football game. I've waited about 12 years to have a college basketball game. I don't know if I'll get the college basketball game, but the college football game, I remember like playing that game like every single day I came home from school, and I still miss that game so much because it's different than Madden. What's different than that from Madden? I had friends ask that. I'm like, because in Madden, it's such a generic feeling like, okay, we know these guys, it's fun. It's really fun to be able to go play with Texas State or, some team from the Mountain West and go win a national title and create a dynasty. Like to me, that is so much fun to just go do that. Man,
I will
I'm going out
say,
preaching.
I will say, freshman year at Cedarville, what really united our hall and St. Clair Upper Back was the fact that my roommate had an Xbox 360
And had the
with
game.
NCAA 13.
Yeah.
The first several weeks of the semester, we were all playing the game.
Had your own team. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
We all had our teams that we would play with too. And most of the time I was Michigan because Denard Robinson was the quarterback,
And
and I
he's a
loved
freak
having a
on that
Michael
game.
Vick-ish quarterback. Yep. I would always play so annoying too. Like I would be the team that would kill the clock, have final scores that would finish like 21-13. Meanwhile, other kids are scoring touchdowns like every 60 seconds and having final scores of like 67 to 55. And
So
then you got to play me and you're lucky to hit 20.
the question, over under. Let's just say this on a scale of 1 to 10, Josh. What is the odds that Josh purchases a Xbox or a PlayStation just for this game?
Let me look up how much PS5s are right now.
I looked up on what is it on my end, and yeah, it's going to take a few months. I gotta.
449 at GameStop.
No, Xboxes are actually cheaper, by the way, and they're more reliable, according to my brother who bought a Xbox like a year ago.
See, everybody has Xbox, and I grew up on
I
PlayStation.
know. Well, see, I grew up on both. I started Wii, Xbox,
What's
PlayStation,
even the newest Xbox? The one?
Xbox. No, it's Xbox
One
Series
X?
X, Series X, I think it is.
Jeez. Series X, okay. That's how far away removed I am from
I know.
consoles, man.
That's
I don't
how
even know what the
we're-
newest Xbox is. Xbox Series X, let's see. 449 on sale from 500. But it's like one of those that like comes with a pack of like a game
Yeah, yeah.
special
So I'm
edition
sure you can get
something.
it. Yeah, I'm sure.
So probably could get lower, yeah.
So the thing is, Josh, that's now answer the question. Do you think that there is a part of you that will just literally buy a new console just for that one game and hope they come out with like a basketball game in the future?
Yeah, it's tough to say, right? Because right now I'm in like live like I'm poor mode, trying to save up for a house, and I don't know if I can justify 500 for a console plus another 50 or 60 for the game. And I can't just have one game, right? I gotta go and get like
Oh yeah, of
MLB The
course.
Show.
Of
I gotta go get
course.
MLB The Show too. So I mean, we're looking at like $600. And unless I mean, I do have the opportunity to work extra overtime if I just want to
Oh,
one day, like
we
go
see
in,
Josh. Yeah.
work 12 hours at time and a half, and that day alone could pay for it. Maybe. What are the are we putting it at like a plus 200 money line that I do it, or
Yeah.
a plus
Yeah. Yeah.
400 or something like that?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I would definitely say that it's in the pluses because I'm leaning towards a no. I'd put plus 300 odds on it.
Look, this is the way I put it. I'm married. All right. And it's like an extra, like, it's, I've got to have a reason, like, why I, like, because this is my thing. Like, if I get it, I know what's going to happen is I'll play the game. And then, like, there'll be that moment where I'm, like, kind of done with the game for a while. And then I'm just like, well, I just bought this brand new piece
That's
of
the other thing.
hardware.
Yes.
And like the thing is, my gaming laptop, I'm on it a lot because I have games that are more casual games. I don't have to like sit and play all the time. It kind of goes in the background, right? And I can just kind of
Hmm.
hang out or whatever, watch stuff or whatever. But like with a PlayStation or an Xbox, like the game itself is something that you have to control the speed of. Whereas a lot of the games you play on the computer, it's kind of simulation. It's kind of does its own thing. And I don't really play Call of Duty. I don't play those games. So for me, it's like that's the value. But anyways, all I'm
Yeah,
here to
I've
say
never
is
been
that
a gamer. Like I have to justify basically spending $600 to play
exactly.
a game.
This is my thing though. If I'm like just save the money and it naturally becomes saved up enough to where I can buy it and I'm not using that money for anything else, then I'm like, okay, then I see the like, okay, I haven't wasted anything or any extra opportunities, that sort of thing. And even then I'm just like,
Yeah.
so, but anyways, that is what Josh and I are thinking about because we're adults now. And we're
We're
not.
adults now, and I also like buying other things too, like ammo and I'd hope to get another gun someday, but
Josh shoots guns. So
that'd be about the same as a console.
that is true. Actually, ammo is about the same as a console. Um. Anyways, Josh, anything on your mind the rest of the time, or we call it an episode?
I think we can call it an episode.
It was a good one. There is a plan for next week, hopefully, Josh. There's a
Hopefully.
plan.
It's been a while since we've had a guest. I think we're gonna
Yes.
have a guest some point in the next month.
Yes. What maybe possibly maybe hopefully a few, but for sure there's one in the works. I will not release the name because I know what happens. Every time I say the name, it never happens.
Yes.
So I will say it's someone that if you are a Cedarville person, you will recognize. That's what I'll say. If you are a Cedarville person, you will recognize that person. I think. Well, maybe I shouldn't say Cedarville because if you're like older,
If you
like you're our
graduated like
age,
in the same year I did or ahead,
you
maybe
might
not.
not. But I will say it's someone that, and also it's someone that's not in America. Um,
Hmm. That
so that
narrows
will
it
be
down.
fun. That narrows it down. Actually, no one will know. That's besides the point. Anyways, I hope you guys loved today's episode. I know it's a little different, but hey, Josh and I had fun. You can kind of tell we were just joking with each other and jabbing because that's what we do here. We like to have fun. But if you've loved watching and listening, especially watching on YouTube, go ahead and click that thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Let us know that you're loving this. Comment below whose list was better. What did you agree with? What you disagreed with? Why Ben and Josh are crazy for putting Aaron Judge at 5. That's fine. You can do that. We won't judge you. Maybe a little, but we won't judge you. And if you've loved listening on Spotify, go ahead and let us know by sharing that with friends and family. Let us know on Facebook, Instagram. Again, Josh will be posting kind of the couple things that he got to be a part of on Instagram. So pay attention to our story and all that. So hope you guys have a great weekend. Spend time with family and friends. Make it count. And until next time, we'll see ya.